Welcome to the REKAP Lunch Hour with Guff. Me, Ryan McGuffey from the REKAP Studios here. It is a Tuesday, and it is playoff baseball, folks. We actually have playoff baseball in Chicago, and just overall, we have a playoff team. Yes, I'm not at Wrigley Field, hoping to get out there tomorrow. The Cubs host the Padres in a game, the anticipation. I'll tell you this, the Cubs social media has killed it, having everybody from Anthony Rizzo to voice the open or to voice an entire tease. They had CM Punk, I saw, do another one. Matthew Boyd, Nick Pivetta at 2:08 right now. The Tigers and Guardians have opened up the playoffs with the Tigers grabbing a 1-0 lead in the first and Tarek Skubal on the hill in a series that's all too familiar with the Tigers and Guardians. The Guardians hunted down the Detroit Tigers to win the AL Central in an improbable fashion. So the chat's full. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. The Bears are on the bye, and we know that. We're excited about the Bears being 2-2, but it's all about the Cubs right now. Cubs and Padres, the wild card series. The lineup is out. I saw a comment in there about how you really like the way this lineup shakes out. I agree today. I think the lineup shows itself pretty well. Phil, the real Phil Sims, time for playoff baseball. How far can the Cubs go? It's a great question. I don't know. I think the Cubs, to me, if I were giving them an at-best scenario, I think at best this team can get to the NLCS. Now, if they were to get to the NLCS, that's a major success, and you have to let that happen. It wouldn't. They could lose the series, guys, and they could also lose in the NLDS. So I think the ceiling to me is the LCS. I know you like Matt Shaw, but if Camario from Tampa Bay were available, would you go after him? It'd be a huge upgrade. Certainly the power's there. Matt Shaw's, I think he's the defensive leader in runs saved. And if that's the case, you got to sacrifice, here, looking at third base, Matt Shaw is, Brian Hayes is one. Matt Shaw is third. Matt Shaw is going to be a finalist for the Gold Glove. That's crazy. He's going to be a finalist for the Gold Glove this year. Camario, looking down, going way down, dude, he's not. I'm looking at him, to your point. He is not a okay. Yeah, he's up the tracks, guys. He's not nearly the defender. So I don't know. The pre-Cub hour, I like it. The pre-Cub lunch hour, the real Phil Sims always sets the tone. Joe Kelly's throwing out the ceremonial first pitch for Dodgers game 1. I love that. And a lot of White Sox fans wouldn't like that, but Joe Kelly, remember to the Houston Astros, that's an all-time thing. Jake Arrieta throwing out the first pitch today at Wrigley Field. Eddie Vedder singing the 7th inning stretch. They're pulling out all the stops. Eric, Cubs need to get off to a fast start today, and Boyd better have a great day if they want to win today's game. I like Backstreet Boyd. That's pretty good. Oh my God. Look at the puns. I do think there's going to be run scored in this game, but you don't want to get into a situation where you're turning this over to the Padres bullpen. Mason Miller just was named pitcher of the month. He has been, I think, his last 20 appearances, he hasn't given up a run. If anything, you want to make sure that the Cubs bullpen is dictating how this thing goes rather than the other way around. This better not be the same team coming into 2026. I could literally see them saying, Justin Steele's coming back as acquiring a new pitcher. Guys, I wouldn't worry about 2026 right now when you actually have a team that's staring at a playoff game in just over an hour and a half. All right? So enjoy, this is an ultimate be where your feet are. If they would have blown a postseason chance, then I think we have a much different story. Javi Baez with a base hit. So excited for playoff baseball today, says Kyle. Let's go Cubs. Wrigley will be pumped. It will be off the charts. That's why I was I need to get in there just to feel the electricity. These Padres are for real. Very important to win today's game. To me, the winner of this series ultimately makes their way to the NLCS. Phil, it's what you do that speaks louder than what you say. That's the mindset the Cubs need in these playoffs. Just because the Blue Jays and Brewers are the number 1 seeds doesn't mean a damn thing. Believe both will go home in the division series. Guys, seeds in the playoffs don't really mean anything at all. I think last year was the first year in a long-ass time that both number 1 seeds made it. Weren't they both the number 1 seeds? That's been a long time since that's happened. You know, a couple of years ago when the Rangers won it, I think it was the 6th seed versus the 5 seed. So in terms of the Bears' schedule, they might be catching some breaks with injuries. Still only year 1 of Ben Johnson, but you never know what might happen. Yeah, I posed a question in the description here. Are you feeling a little bit more optimistic about the Bears' schedule looking ahead now with all of the injuries that are going on in the NFL? And a gruesome one last night to Tyreek Hill, really brutal. Tore his ACL. I thought he blew out. I thought he dislocated his knee, tore his ACL, also other multiple ligaments. Ooh. Broken bones. Man, oh man, oh man. Tyreek Hill, so he's done probably for longer than a year. Eric, the Padres have guys who have been there before and they're not afraid of anyone. I don't think the Cubs are afraid of anyone. What's going on, Eric? So excited for the Cubs playoff baseball. Can't hold my excitement back for my favorite Chicago sports team. I want to play a clip because I hope you guys saw this yesterday. And if you didn't, it's absolutely fantastic. Matthew Boyd, who I think has been one of the better stories for the Cubs all year, when asked about pitching in the playoffs at Wrigley at this point in his career, here's what he said. Compliments of our friends at Marquee.
You think about a career. Think about what? How ridiculous, man. This is cool because it's cool for so many different reasons. It's cool because you never know when the opportunity presents itself. I waited my first 8 years to get the chance of a postseason. Didn't really get to be a part of it. I mean, on the field, I only threw one out. You never know when the opportunity is going to come again. To do it with the Cubs, to do it with this group, it will never be like this again. I mean, we come back here, the personnel will not be the same. It's a special group. It's a good group of guys, and it's unique to this moment, and that's it. To get to think that I would have got this opportunity knowing everything about, like, grandfather growing up here, being a Cub, it's cool. And, yeah, I mean, it's cool stuff. He would be extremely happy. Man, you owe me one for making me cry up here now. It's like, I felt like I was a bull in a china shop up until this. So, you got me going on that. But that's the cool stuff. My grandfather grew up in Chicago. He grew up a Cubs fan. I think 2016 was one of the happiest days of his life. I get to be a Cub now. It's pretty cool.
I mean, I hope Matthew Boyd goes out today and throws 8 innings, shutout baseball. I mean, how can you not be romantic about baseball, right? The old quote from Moneyball. That's fantastic stuff. I absolutely love the human element of sports. When I saw that yesterday, I'm like, dude, I hope he goes out and throws. I really do. Godfather wants to now sour everything. Please forgive me, chat brothers. Thanks to Ricketts, the Cubs pitching doesn't stack up to the Padres. Must score at least 6 to 7. I don't foresee it happening. Hope I'm wrong. We will see. Matthew Boyd has a sub 2.5 ERA at home this year against the Chicago Cubs, or at home. Sorry, I got distracted by the double play the Tigers just hit into. Would I put money on Cleveland to win it all? They're one, if not the hottest team coming into the playoffs. Seattle is tough, but Cleveland just might shock the world. I don't know. I'm actually against them today. I have the Detroit Tigers. If I were betting on a team, like my long shot team is probably the Boston Red Sox because their bullpen ERA is so good and they can slug a little bit. Seattle's been awfully good. What's going on, Becky? You're a little nervous. That's okay. It's okay to have some anxiety about baseball. I would love to be nervous right now. I would love to be nervous right now. Nathan says, feeling great about today. Everyone's 0-0. Playing field is level for each team's. Hard to imagine after yesterday's pressure with Boyd and his emotions about today that he won't put on a clinic. Nathan, talk about marrying a soundbite to a comment, my friend. You and I are on the same page. I heard that yesterday and was like, go shove, dude. Go shove. Also, great Players Tribune story by PCA. A lot of weight these dudes are carrying. They're more than capable of showing up. No doubt about it. Godfather says Ricketts just docked his yacht. Now he's headed to Wrigley to count the gate and beer money. Kyle, tough news about Tyreek Hill. Whoever has him in fantasy is shaking their heads right now. Yeah, well, so seems to be the case for a lot of guys in fantasy right now. Really like the lineup today. Not a Santana or Castro in sight for Miles. Yeah, the lineup. In case you're just joining us, let me pull this up for you. I had it prior to digging up the other tweet. Here is. Yeah, really good stuff. There's so much good stuff content-wise from the Cubs today. Here's your lineup. Michael Busch, Nico Horner, Ian Happ. If 2 months ago I would have told you those are your three guys in game one of the playoffs, you'd have been like, wait, what? Busch, Horner, Happ, Tucker at DH, Suzuki, Carson Kelly, PCA, Dansby, Swanson, and Matt Shaw. I really like the balance in that lineup a lot. Tough to not talk baseball today, but damn, the Jets are an absolute train wreck. And that'll be the most for the Jets. Kyle comments on the Jets. Yeah, the Jets suck. Hope it's a replay of the opening game of 1984. Cubs 13, Padres 1. Bobby Dernier and the Sarge hit homers in the first. Wish we had the Red Baron pitching. Maybe that version, not today's version of the Red Baron. Confidence level in the Cubs taking out the Padres on a scale from 1 to 10. For me, it's a 6. 6 is fair. I was going to say 7 for me. I think the Cubs get out and get to a lead. They're hitting 306 in their career off of Nick Pivetta. I can see why the Padres are throwing Pivetta out there today. He's got pretty good numbers against the Cubs hitters. They hit 306 as a team off him. There's not a coach that can turn that ship like Aaron Glenn. Man, this is the third comment on the Jets. How about that? Kyle, agree. But just like here in Chicago, New York fans not known for their patience. New York, it's win now or get out every year. Okay, I appreciate the Jets sentiment, but we're going to move on from the New York football Jets. Just heard Theo Benedict is going to start at left tackle after the bye week versus the Commanders. Benjamin ain't playing these games. I like it too. I'm going to jump ahead here. While CM Punk is a Cubs fan, his arch enemy Seth Rollins is a Cardinals fan. What's the drink of the month for the Hooters in October? Well, the drink of the month for at least the rest of today is the black cherry margaritas for $8. They're J. True. Haven't gotten the update yet from my friends at Hooters, but I will have that for you as soon as I know, either tomorrow or the day after. How is anyone in the right mind talking about dishing Matt Shaw? Yeah, I am not giving up Matt Shaw to get worse defensively at the hot corner. Arenado and a combo of Gorman, Nootbaar, Donovan, and Burleson will be traded by the Cardinals. Nathan, bring the young guys up. Cubs bring the young guys up. They do well. Then it turns into dish the young guys. Swayze, Cubs have a good shot at making it to the NLDS, but that's about it due to them not getting an actual closer. Palencia is a setup guy, nothing more. Well, we're going to find out here. We're going to find out real quick. We'll have membership stuff coming. Lots of members. We're still trying to add to the pile here. We want to add to the recap membership fam, which there are some of you out here and a lot of you here in the chat. We're proud to have you as members like Jay True, but Carter told us to be prepared for 2032. Cubs need to treat Kittredge as their closer here. I don't disagree with that at all. I really don't. The Padres scared me early on in the season, not so much anymore. Cubs played better down the stretch, which gives me hope for this series. What gives me hope for this series is that guys like Seiya got hot in the last week. I think that can carry into the postseason. PCA looked good. Like, I'd like to see some of those guys getting out of that. I mean, Seiya, homer, like that last week. Now you ride that into the postseason. I think that there can actually be signs of life to that offense that looks a lot more like the first 3 months than the second 3 months. Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin will be back for the Bears game. Doesn't surprise me. I figured that. I still think they're very beatable. Baseball Toss says, I know this is about the Cubs, but how do you feel about the White Sox getting rid of Ethan Katz? I was very surprised to see that yesterday. The White Sox made a boatload of coaching changes, hitting coach, pitching coach, first base coach. They got rid of a bunch of guys, but Ethan Katz, who's been there for 5 years, I say has done a phenomenal job. People are going to look at their ERA the last 5 years. Look at the talent. I mean, Shane Smith gets ahead. Shane Smith was an all-star from a Rule 5. Mike Vassell was their best player in the bullpen. Davis Martin is a Major League Baseball starter. He got Dylan Cease to the Cy Young runner-up. Folks, Ethan Katz is going to get a job. I can promise you that. And I'm happy to call Ethan Katz a hell of a good dude. And we're acquaintances / friends. I love Ethan Katz. I love what he represents. I love the dude. I love the dude more than the pitching coach. So I was a little bummed out to find out he got released by the White Sox. But this means that they have a bigger plan. And clearly, Will Venables is going to be getting the keys to the kingdom and get the crew in there he wants. I get that. But so the Rangers, Twins, and Giants have openings. There's rumors that Bochy will go back to San Francisco. We'll see that. Yeah, that was great stuff from Matthew Boyd. We'll get back here to the chat in just a second. But if you want to go watch not only the best football games and the best coverage at Hooters, now it's a great baseball spot too. Go watch the Cubs. Get there in an hour. Get there right now. Go have lunch. OG wings, boneless wings, the burger. There's specials all the way till 3 o'clock. Of course, the Big Daddy mugs will be a-flowing throughout October during the baseball playoffs and, of course, during the football games. It's a Tuesday at Hooters, which means it's a baseball day. Playoff baseball at Hooters, man. Let's go. The drink of the month for at least the rest of the day is the Black Cherry Margarita. That's $8. The Big Daddy mugs, I mentioned those. Bud Light, the Oktoberfest from Sam Adams, the Michelob Ultra, and the Dos Equis. And, of course, it's the headquarters for postseason baseball and football. Great food, cold beer, and iconic Hooters girls. OriginalHooters.com, ordered.hooters.com. And a week from today, we will be at Hooters Downers Grove to do our Studio 41 recap or football recap live, which, by the way, tonight at 8 o'clock, after the Cubs have gotten a 1-0 lead, it'll be Cap, Olin Kreutz, and Tom Waddle tonight at 8 o'clock. Join us here on YouTube. We will be there. The guys will be there. We will be in Downers Grove next week, and we are jacked up to see you guys out there with us. Eucalyptus Dick, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Is this the year Hooters launches pumpkin spice wings? I hope not, but I know that there's a big part of the crowd that loves pumpkin spice. My daughter is a pumpkin spicer. I always get pissed when I see it on the shelves in August, but now it's October and I get it. What's going on, the dead? David? Hey, Guff, J.K. Dobbins would have looked good in a Bears uniform. There's a lot of running backs out there that would have. Nick Chubb, I think, is one of them. A lot of guys out there. Javonte Williams for the Cowboys had a 1-year deal. Just make sure the Cubs have a lead late game, that Padres bullpen. We've been talking about that, Dad. You want to stay away from it. Also, ESPN hates the Cubs. The playoff look video is sad to watch. The Cubs playoff videos have been phenomenal. Hear you out, Jess. Wild card week for Major League Baseball becomes the new March Madness. Interesting take. And this is what's also interesting, too, because if those teams that get the bye, these teams are playing playoff baseball all week, and then they go into a new series. Something to think about next week in Milwaukee when the Brewers are hosting. There's Rick from Honolulu. It's breakfast hour. One thing we learned this season is that every team has significant weaknesses. Whoever steps up will make the difference. The Cubs are more than capable to take it all. That's what makes me so pissed about what happened at the deadline. Jay, being nervous is what makes sports special. I love postseason baseball. Can't wait for the White Sox to get back again. Guess McDaniels keeps his job another week. Shame about Hill, though. Not sure if he'll be the same after that injury. It's going to be awfully tough. A little scary. Hate Tatis. I feel like he will make noise, and that Padres bullpen is nuts. Jess, Hooters should have the official release of the drink of the month here on the lunch hour. Ooh. Don't be afraid to give us one. We should have a drink. By the way, those of you who are there next week at Downers Grove, in 3 weeks, October 21st in Orland Park, that'll be the day, the 1-year anniversary of this show. Okay? So make sure you come out and celebrate with us. Punk and Rollins are both Bears fans, though. That's the one thing we can always agree on. I assume Kittredge will get closing duties in the playoffs if the Cubs are up. I would assume that as well. Are we having post-cap after the Cubs game? We are. We are doing a live Cubs recap podcast. Let me put that out there so you guys know. This will be here. Immediately following Cubs Padres, the Cubs recap podcast live. Cap and I will be with you for immediate reaction. There will be a Cubs recap also later on tonight. But immediately following Cubs Padres, you tune in right here. We'll be live on YouTube with a Cubs recap podcast with immediate reaction. Just to your point, So there you go. Ask and you shall receive. So there you guys go. Kyle, there you go. Chat's full. Looking forward to October 21st to celebrate the growth of this channel. Thank you, Pablo. Also want to see some small ball as well. I think you will see some. If it gets 0-0 in the fourth inning, you're going to see, I think, a little bit of less play with fire. Go Cubs, says Anthony. Jay Guff, what do you think about the Sox coaching staff changes? Was it about performance? I think a little bit of both. I just mentioned I was really surprised at Ethan Katz. So I love Ethan Katz, and I think it'll all work out for him. Do you think Dansby Swanson can have a breakout postseason with his bat? Dude had a very silent 24 homer, Sydney, to your point. I think he could. It's really a 5-inning game. He actually hits like 300 off. He's had a boatload of at-bats against Pivetta and has hit him very well. It's really a 5-inning game because the Padres bullpen is almost unhittable. Everyone throws 100. It's true. It's a 5-inning game if the Padres have the lead. That's the thing to remember. Nate says the thing with late inning relievers and closers, you've got Keller that can go 1 or 2. Scott Theobar that can go a few. Kittredge in a 1-run or 1-inning close game scenario like the bullpen. Cubs bullpen is actually really good. It's underrated. It's not big names. Cubs susceptible to high fastballs. If the Padres have a lead and you guys have Mason Miller throwing 100, yeah, I mean, that's Mason Miller's the elite of the elite. Clyde, what's going on, my brother? You got that right. Big Daddy Beers will be a-flowing. Woo! Well. Let's take a moment to remember where the Cubs fans were after the opening series in Japan to where we are now. Oh, boy, do I remember doing those recaps at like 5:30 in the morning to lose point. The sky was falling after that Japanese series, and here we are 6 months later, still somewhat bitching about the Cubs, but they are in a postseason series. They were 92-70, and I think at the beginning of the year, everyone would have said 92-70 works for me. Top Guff, it's been a little cold. 3 straight losses in the bet of the day. We're going to get to that here in just a second, Matt. Cleveland and Cubbies in the World Series again, and the Cubbies in 6. Matt, dude, try to bet that right now. Let's take a look. If I could try to bet, I'm not sure if I can make that bet right now, but that should be here. Futures. Series markets. Cubs are minus 125 to win the series. I want to see if I could bet here, league winners. You know what that would pay? The Cubs 7-1, Guardians 13-1. Can't parlay those, but that's a massive payout if you were to guess the World Series. I'm going to see if I can look at it for DraftKings, Matt, and I'll come back to you. How about Alvin Kamara? That's a guy that Clyde has been barking for a while. I think Kamara could be an interesting name. I just don't want to give up a ton of draft capital for Alvin Kamara. You're probably going to have to extend him. So I need to see what that looks like. Looking at the postseason for, let's see here, postseason specials. Let's see if I could do postseason specials. Team, let's see here, series. Well, here, World Series postseason specials. To win the World Series, I want to get to the World Series. The Guardians are 35-1 to win it all. The Cubs are 15-1. So that payout would be enormous. Absolutely enormous. Yeah. Well. Oh, well. Oh, here, World Series. Is this just to win the World Series? Yeah. All right. Well. Dead, do you think the Cubs will win today? She wants to know. Hey, Phil, how surprised would you be? I wouldn't be. I said to start this thing off. Wouldn't be surprised. I'm going 5-3 Cubs today, Becky. 5-3 Cubs. You're welcome, Jess, and thank you for being a big part of it. Kurt, how much can we really expect from the Cubs missing 2 starters? Not sure of a closer. Not sure what you'll get from Tucker. Not sure if the offense will and won't do. You know what? Let's not forget. The San Diego Padres are also a team that's in the wild card, and they're not even as good as the Cubs. So to all you guys, I'm scared of the Padres. That's fine. I want to pull something up here for you. Let me pull up the San Diego Padres of 2025, who had 90 wins, just 2 shy of the Chicago Cubs. All right, looking at their month by month. This is San Diego. April 14-11, May 13-13, June 13-15, July 15-10, August 16-12, September 14-11. Okay. You know, they're 10 games over 500 in the second half. I mean, They never ran away with anything. And this year against the Chicago Cubs, they were 3-3. So it's a very evenly matched series. Lamar out 2 to 3 weeks, not good. The Ravens are really, talk about going backwards fast. Godfather wants to add the Ricketts plan is in effect. Extend Hoyer, don't spend full house, make first round. What a genius. One thing I will say is there's a lot of parity in the Major League Baseball this year. No juggernaut, which makes it what didn't happen. That's what I'm saying. Kyle says 6-4. Becky says 7-4. Who's the closer? We were checking. I think Kittredge is probably the guy. Love being a Chicago sports fan. If the Cubs were winning the series, and if we lose today, everyone will want Ricketts to sell the team. That's a fact. So that brings us to the old bet of the day. As we finish the final day of September, we're guaranteed a great winning month no matter what. I'd like to end it on a good note today. I'm going to do something a little unconventional in playoff baseball. I'm taking the over in the Cubs-Padres game. I just gave you a score of 5-3. It's all these the Guardians and Tigers total was 6. We're in the 4th inning. Scooble's on the hill. He's been shutting them down all year. I went under. I went under 6 in the Tigers game. I'm going over 6.5 at Wrigley. It's a warm, unconventionally warm day. There's a lot of power in both lineups. Becky says if they score 4 by the 5th, they should be okay. As long as the Padres have 0, as long as the Cubs score, we're good. I'm not at Wrigley. I can't tell you. It's blowing in from center, says Becky from Tulsa. Becky from Tulsa is letting you know that it's blowing in from center field. There's going to be runs scored today. I really believe it. And you can hold the receipts here and we'll figure it out. But I'm taking the over as my bet of the day to close out September, looking to go 14-7. I would love that. That percentage, by the way, that's only a 66.7% clip. That would work out pretty damn well any single day of the week. There it is. The over 6.5 as we put a bookend on September. It's going to be October 1st already. Can't believe it. A couple of reminders. Immediately following Cubs Padres, join Cap and I on the Cubs Recap Podcast. We'll be live after the game with our thoughts, our analysis on the game, what happened, why it happened, your questions, comments, etc. Join us on the Cubs Recap Podcast. If you can't join us, it'll be on demand on the channel, and it'll also be on audio form wherever you download podcasts. Tonight at 8 o'clock, busy day for the channel today. Studio 41 Football Recap Live. Cap, Olin Kreutz, and Tom Waddle. 8 o'clock, join us right here on the channel. You'll have your comments and questions, etc. Wish you guys did a Cubs Live because watching the Cubs Live in Marquee is brutal. We are doing one after the game, so just flip to us instead. Tucker rocking a Michael Jordan shirt today was awesome. I just saw a couple of guys. Hang on as we wrap things up here. Yeah, Kyle Tucker. That's pretty sick. Kyle Tucker going with the Michael as a man who understands where he's at. That's a man who understands who he's at. Ian Happ just going conventional Midwest white tee. You got to like that. Cubs strike first, win by 2. I'll take that. Wish you guys, we did that. And then there's our sponsored by Hooters. There's our 11 locations. Hey, order.hooters.com. That'll take care of you. If you're hungry before the game, get it now so you can get it before the game starts tonight. There will be a White Sox recap podcast, a new one. Me and BA are recording one this week. Talk about the coaching staff changes and more. So I got you, Clyde. Hey, there's nobody we don't cover. Let's go. It's all brought to you by Hooters. A week from today, Downers Grove. Make your plans to be with us. Call them now. Book a table. We will be there. Have a great rest of your day. Guys, in the next hour, go out and touch some grass, please, because it's flipping gorgeous outside, and it's going to be here just for a short more time, just a little bit more. Have a great day. Join us after the Cubs and Padres. Cap and I will be here live to break it down on the Cubs Recap Podcast. Until then, go Cubs. Take that.